You are listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. Join the Business Heroine community today at businessheroinemagazine.com. And now, tune into the show.
Hi and welcome. I'm Ann Perry, founder of Business Heroine, and I am excited to introduce you to our guest today. We have Catherine Tapponnier here on the line. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you, Anne. It's wonderful to be here. I'm really excited to be joining you today. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, well, I'm so excited to have you here and to introduce you to all the business heroines out there. I'm going to just share a little bit about Catherine so you know who this magical woman is. And Catherine is actually the founder of Magical You. And she inspires and teaches women to live life on their terms in a way that feels really good, no matter how they feel right now. So through Catherine's coaching, women experience finding their own true path in life, and they learn to live in a way where they experience all the beauty that life has to offer. And it's really through Catherine's life experiences and her own personal challenges that, those have been catalysts for her uncovering the great rewards of living life openly, gently, and kindly. And she's developed her intuition and how to use it in a grounded, practical, powerful way through these challenges, really, in life experiences. And I definitely want to dive into that conversation because it's a pretty fascinating story that Catherine has, and I'm excited for you to hear it. But Catherine's clients, they often say that they feel the depth of her enthusiasm and positivity and really her ability to get things done. All of that combined is able to support them with a unique blend of passion and compassion. So she's a coach, a writer, and a speaker. And through those avenues, it's her personal mission to ensure that women live happy and fulfilled lives on their terms in a way that's aligned to feminine values of nurturing, community, and support. Also, Catherine's the author of 2 books. One of them is called Fighting Fatigue, a practical guide to managing the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome that she co-authored, and also Flying Solo Again, divorcing, separating, or breaking up, how to rebuild and move on positively. So Catherine graduated with a degree in European and Social Studies from the University of East Anglia, thank you. She loves to travel, adventure, and the rich variety and possibilities of life. She's originally from Yorkshire, and now Catherine lives in London and Wales with her husband, Andre. If you look at her Facebook posts, it's just beautiful, and you're going to want to, go there and take some tips from Catherine on living really life on your terms. And that's what she's all about. Her work comes down to teaching women how to achieve true success in a way that feels really good. So that is Catherine in a nutshell, and I can't wait to just dive into this conversation. Catherine, I shared when I was introducing you, I shared about your personal challenges and life experiences that really catalyzed this mission you're on to have women living life on their terms. Will you share with us that journey that you went through?
I'd be delighted to. And so it was just over 10 years ago when I was living my life and looking forward in my life, but not feeling excited at all, just like looking forward. I was in my mid-30s and totally uninspired, when I look forward. And, I knew something was really wrong because it didn't feel good to be thinking that way. And yet I didn't have the first clue as to kind of work it all out and, feel how I wanted to feel, which was happy and fulfilled. I was ill, and so my health wasn't good. I was married, and that relationship it didn't feel right for me. Again, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It was just like things just didn't feel like me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what happened was in 2005, I was scuba diving off the coast of Malta, which is an island in the Mediterranean Sea. And I was swimming along, and all of a sudden I could feel, what happened was I thought it looked to me like everybody else sort of flew up, in the water. But what I realized obviously was like I was dropping quite quickly down in the water. And I did all the things that I'd been taught to do. And so I tried to kick and, kind of swim up. And then I was like putting some air into my diving vest thing. We call it a BCD, and nothing worked. I was just dropping. Anyway, I actually bumped onto the sort of the side of the rocks that we were diving around, and I could kind of regain my composure and like get myself together, and I managed to swim back up and carry on swimming. And then it happened again. I dropped again.
My gosh.
And it was like I was just, and then I started panicking, and then I had the thought that, oh my goodness, I really thought today's the day I'm gonna die. I don't know how to kind of get out of this situation, and I really felt like I was gonna drown. And what was really amazing was like in the instant after I'd had that thought, I felt really peaceful and like really accepting of that. And then the very next instant I had this really like powerful urge and thought like, no, like absolutely not, I really don't want to.
Wow.
I've got like I want to live. And what kind of happened, the way I can best explain it, is that it was like something in me, whether you call it my soul or the universe or God or whatever words you want to use, it was like something spoke to me, and I kind of connected with something that I'd never connected with within myself before. And I had this real desire to finish the art. I was doing an art course at college at the time, and I had this real powerful desire to finish that. Like it felt like something that I really wanted to do. And it was really the beginning of me connecting with my truth, who I am, what I enjoy, my desires. And that was really the starting point, which then led me on to, also connecting more deeply with the things that didn't align with who I am. So that was really the start of the whole journey from there to now.
Amazing. In a near-death experience. It's interesting, I haven't had an actual near-death experience personally, but I've had those sort of times when everything, it's like time slows down and your thoughts go really, really slow. There was this time when I actually got hit by a car. And the first thought that crossed my mind when I got hit by the car was, my first thought was, oh crap, my coffee just spilled everywhere. And then my second thought was, I don't have time for this. I have so much to do today, so it was kind of, anyway, but for you, that's so fascinating. So it's like, you basically came to terms with, okay, my life is over. This is it. And it was this peaceful thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, there's so much to do. And then interesting about the art class, like that you're in the ocean, your scuba gear is not working, you're feeling like you don't know how to get out of this situation, and then the art class felt suddenly priority. And it's just such a fascinating story. So then what shifted at that point? Did you just start cutting out all the things that didn't feel aligned and adding more? Did it just shift overnight? What happened from that point?
So that was really just the very beginning of the process. So what happened after that was challenging at times, because as I just touched upon there, not only did I sort of connect with this thing in my life that I really knew that I loved and I really, really wanted to do, I also, as I just mentioned, connected with the things that really, really didn't feel good either. So, I had to kind of dig pretty deep at times to work through, what wasn't working. And the amazing thing was that as I kind of began to do that work, and I also started on this exploration really of finding out more about what I did enjoy and what I do like, it was like my health started to improve really, really quite quickly. I'd been struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome for almost 10 years, and I'd been told several times by various people that it was probably unlikely that I would ever fully recover. And the amazing thing to me was that as I connected with more and more of my joy, I guess, and the things that really light me up, my health did improve, and looking back on it now, more than 10 years later, it makes a lot more sense to me. But at the time when I was kind of in this situation and I couldn't see the wood for the trees, it was a real, I guess it was a big motivation to me to keep going. Even though there were things that I came to do, which one of them was to leave that marriage, which was the right thing to do, and at the same time it was painful. It was, and I think without that, having had those experiences of increased energy and that, I think it would have been a lot harder to do. But it was just like, I just felt like I was onto something and I wasn't going to stop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a fascinating experience, and just such clear, direct feedback from the universe, and just going, joy, it's like, I don't know, it makes me think joy is not just some privilege that, oh, that'd be nice. It's like, it's a necessity. It's like, that's what's in alignment, is choosing joy and choosing, what feels good to you and what makes you feel alive. So I'm curious in your perspective, because the other thing that was interesting in your story is that it's not like, you just shared like the spark wasn't there. It's not like you would have said, I hate life, everything is horrible. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm here, everything's sort of ho-hum, like everything's sort of mediocre. I'm curious, now that you're working with women and helping them find their own true path in life, and, what is it that you notice that is an epidemic, I guess, that's going on, and how are women breaking through that?
For me, the women that I tend to work with most, there's like two things. There's women who are super busy, so their lives are really, really full, and on the outside, it can look like they've got this amazing life because they're doing all these things, and they've got maybe a relationship and children and kind of this fullness in their life, and yet it's like something deep inside them isn't deeply fulfilled, or they're not truly happy. So that's kind of one group of women that I work with, and then the other group are more feel more, kind of, they have much more of an awareness of feeling lost or disconnected, and maybe quite alone as well at times, and quite separate, and not really not really having anyone to share that with. And so they're like, they're just really stuck with these feelings, and not knowing how to move forward and how to feel better. And I think it comes from a couple of reasons. From what I notice is that we are nowadays bombarded by so much, from the outside of us, like coming in, the media and social media, and just people in our lives as well, who often, mostly with their best intentions, want to help us, and yet they're giving us their messages, and so I think that's going on. And I also think, particularly in our Western cultures, we are very much brought up as women to use our mind, our logic, and that part of us to navigate life and to live our lives, to make our choices by. And actually, as women, in my experience, that doesn't work. We have these, this intuition, this inner knowing, this whatever words you want to use to describe it. And for me, that is a much more effective, powerful way of living that does lead us on a path that is happy and joyful.
Yeah. I mean, and it's magical. That's the magic. That's the magic that women have, is that path. And your business is called Magical You, so that's so perfect. Yeah, I love that. I just love, as as everyone, the business heroines listening, if you've listened to me talk before, I always just want to geek out on the business side of things. And I just think it's so cool how we, in this world of entrepreneurship, we get to invent whatever it is we want. And how cool is it to go, to take your own lesson. In the case of you, Catherine, it's like to take your own experience and go, you know what? It's like you're taking a stand for women everywhere. It is possible for us to be deeply fulfilled. It's not just possible to have all the boxes checked off on our list of things that are a successful life or whatever. It is possible to be deeply fulfilled on all levels. It's possible to, be in alignment in all these areas. And by gone it, I'm going to take it on myself to, make that available to people. And your whole business is supporting women to find real, true, deep happiness in whatever it is that feels really good to them, no matter how they feel right now, and no matter what sort of their life looks like and what success means to other people. And I just, anyway, thank you for doing your work out there. It's really powerful and really, really important.
It's my pleasure, Anna, and it is my joy. Doing this work is my joy. It delights me to do it. And you just touched on something there. It's like it's not we're all the same either,
Right.
So it's I see it being my job. The work I do is to help you connect with you. Right. And it's not the same things for everybody, and yet there's something, there's always that moment when somebody just lights up and it's like, that's it, that's it,
Wow,
and
what an
so
amazing moment
when that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wow, oh my gosh, I have a new lease on life. So one of the questions I love to ask, I actually ask my clients this a lot, and it's, when you imagine a world in which women are, so whatever your work, what I ask my clients is, whatever your work is, if the whole world knew this, or if you could sprinkle this across the world, what would really change as far as just the mass consciousness and the whole mass experience about how humanity does life? So Catherine, I'm curious for you, just from what you've witnessed on an individual level, and just imagining if you could sprinkle this fairy dust or wave your magic wand to the masses, and women were just, more women than not, were now deeply fulfilled and following their true path. Like, how would that change humanity? Like, what is really possible for all of us?
For me, it's like if we could all be in this place of, first of all, assuming complete responsibility for ourselves and our happiness, and like really looking within and rather than out there, and then like really connecting with the truth of who we are. It's like, to me, I can't even really put into words what's possible, because it's like it's so huge, the possibility of that, because when we're happy, particularly as women, I think when we're happy, it's like everyone around us is happy. It's like
it's true.
My husband always says to me, is all I want is for you to be happy, because if you're happy, then I'm happy. And it's not just words, that's truth. That's his truth. And I see that in a lot, in men. That's men want to serve their woman, and they want her to be happy. So you have that in an intimate relationship in that way, and then you kind of see how that spreads out into a wider family, and then into wider communities. It's like it changes everything. It's massive.
It is. I know. That's why I had to ask the question, because it's like, how do you even capture word to that? It's like, it just transforms human existence, really, if we really make that a priority. And then the good news is, it's like, just in your own story, it's like, okay, you started prioritizing your joy, and alignment just really comes up, because it's also the letting go of things that don't fit. And by doing that, your health improved. And then it's like, you're just surrounded, you are surrounded by magic. Your life is a beautiful example of the power of your work. So I just absolutely love it. So I want to ask you, for the business heroines who are tuning in, who, maybe they relate to one of those situations. Either I'm so busy that I haven't stopped to even see what's priority in my own life, or it's kind of like my life is just whizzing by, and I'm a slave to time and obligations and all that stuff, and which sucks the nectar out of life. Or the woman who's just feeling kind of lost, alone, separate, disconnected, if that's going on any level for us as business heroines. Also, by the way, side note, I know I'm kind of talking a lot today. Side note, if you're feeling that way and you're trying to get a business off the ground, you're making it way harder on yourself, because in my experience, and Catherine, I'll be curious for you, in my experience, the more aligned I am just in any area of life, whether it's business, whether it's personal, it's like that is just what creates ease and flow. And if when I have been in super stress periods of life, or, really burnout periods of life, which definitely, believe me, I have, everything is harder, and getting the business off the ground is harder. And it's like the magnetic attraction of the right clients to you is just things you're creating out of force versus creating out of flow. And so anyway, if you are a businesswoman, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business heroine, I'm really wanting to just hone in on that point, because if you want to have a successful business, it's actually, I think it's a necessity to prioritize your joy if you want to have a successful business, which is good news, I think. So anyway, Catherine, if there are, for the business heroines who are listening, who really want to learn more about you and your approach and how to work with you, and to really take that first step to unlock that magical part of themselves, what is the best way for them to find you and your work?
So I have a website, which is www.magicalyou.co.uk, and on there you can fill out just a little box with your name and best email, and so then I can be in contact with you. I offer a initial just hour-long phone or Skype call where we can explore how you're feeling at the moment, how you would really love to feel, and what your best next step is. What options are there for you to start moving in the direction of feeling how you want to feel. So that's definitely something that someone could do, that would be amazing. So
yes, that would be amazing, and that to have you hold that space of just looking at, shining a light on it, seeing what's true, seeing what's possible, and then actually determining next steps to walk towards that. Thank you. That's an amazing gift. So that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, Catherine. So, before we wrap up, I just want to ask you, is there any last words of wisdom, words of advice, or, something that you wish upon the business heroines listening today?
Yeah, I think, Anne, and it touches on what you just shared there about, doing things with ease, and doing things in a way that's in flow rather than kind of forcing. And for as long as I can remember, I've had this vision of life really as being, and it came from when I was really, really small, of having this vision of life being like this huge sweet shop, really full of good things, and all these good things to explore and experience and taste and savor, and it's like I used to think everyone kind of here was, people just to play with, other playmates, everyone on the planet's just like someone to kind of play at this game of life with. And I think if we could all begin to view life more in that way, with this playful curiosity, rather than what we can do, which is take things seriously, and and things are important, of course they are, and yet just to introduce this element of curiosity, I think can make a massive difference
totally
to life. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that, the playful curiosity versus the sort of have to, should, burden world that we somehow end up in adulthood. Not not everybody, but societally that is in the air that we breathe. So beautiful. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really, really happy that we got to introduce you to the Business Heroines, because your work really is vitally important to the world, vitally important for women having fulfilling businesses, having fulfilling lives. And like you said, when women are happy, everyone's happy. So if we're going to take on a burden, let's just take on the burden that we have to be happy. So let's do what it takes to be happy.
I love that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anne. It's been absolutely gorgeous to be here. And thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome. And thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
You have been listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out what's new at businessheroinemagazine.com today.